President Tinubu appoints governing councils and boards of federal tertiary educational institutions. President Tinubu arrives Lagos for Eid-el-Kabir as pilgrims move from Mecca to Mina ahead of Arafat.
I feel excited to be among the people that will perform this religious activity, which is among the 5 pillars of Islam. Alhamdulillah.
Also on the news, World Blood Donor Day. Medical experts seek youth support for sustainable blood requirements in hospitals. Good evening and thank you for joining us on Network News on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I'm Lami Ali. Benny Adams will later in the course of the bulletin bring us the bits on business. And remember, you can watch this news broadcast live on nta.ng/live and on other social media platforms displayed on your screen. Now we begin with preparations for the Eid. President Bola Tinubu is in Lagos ahead of Eid-el-Kabir celebration. The president, who departed Abuja, the nation's capital, this afternoon, is spending the Salah holidays in his home state. A statement by the presidential advisor on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngalale, had stated that the president will mark the occasion in prayers and reflection on advancing the transformation of Nigeria in line with his renewed hope agenda. Now, Vice President Kashim Shettima has arrived in Maiduguri, Borno State capital, also ahead of the Eid-el-Kabir celebration. The Vice President, who departed Abuja, the nation's capital, this evening, is expected to spend the Salah holidays in his home state, Borno. He was received at the Muhammadu Buhari International Airport, Maiduguri, by the acting governor, Umar Usman Kadafu, among other government officials and political leaders. As the day of Arafat draws nearer, Saudi Arabia has launched an initiative to use flexible rubber asphalt in pedestrian walkways and holy sites for this year's Hajj. Saudi authorities took visiting journalists on a tour of Arafat ahead of the climax of this year's Hajj. Now, Tope Alabi is there.
Of Arafah, Yawmul Arafah, also called the Day of the Standing, Yawmul Waqf, is significant because it is the holiest day of the Islamic Hijri lunar year. This year, about 2 million pilgrims will converge on Arafah, and the elderly, who make up 53% of all pilgrims, will have a sigh of relief. Saudi Arabia came up with this technology made from recycled rubber from tires in asphalt mixtures to reduce pressure on the ankles and feet.
70-61, so it's 10 degrees less. Old age people, as they walk, they have back pain and they have knee pain. So we wanted to come up with a with something to make it easy for them to walk.
Meanwhile, all tents at Arafah have been erected for pilgrims who will be coming from Mina for the Hajj climax as journalists inspect what has been put in place ahead of the important religious rite.
The day of Arafah is just 3 hours away, and Saudi authorities are already ensuring that every pilgrim is able to perform the Arafah with ease. From the Arafah ground in Saudi Arabia, Tope Alabi, NTA News.
Now, Tope Alabi has been moving with other Nigerian pilgrims in Muna, and he now joins us live virtually to speak more on the movements of pilgrims from Mecca to Muna for the Arafat, which is taking place tomorrow, Saturday. Tope, it's good to have you join us on the news.
Thank you, Lami. It's good to hear from Nigeria.
Now, Arafat is the climax of the Hajj. What is the mood like ahead of this all-important, most important aspect of the Hajj exercise for the pilgrims?
Well, let me start by saying that Hajj is Arafah. Whoever comes to Hajj and did not perform Arafah, be Hajj. So the atmosphere here in Muna and people are already preparing to be moving to Arafat tomorrow. By dawn, people will be moving to Arafat, and they're expected to be at Arafat before Zuhur, because they will have to combine Zuhur and Asri together after the khutbah, a sermon that will be delivered by the Imam. Of course, the atmosphere has been very, very intense. People are excited. A lot of prayers are going on. And the Saudi authorities have also made sure that everything is put in place this year, unlike what used to happen, in previous years. To make the Hajj exercise for the pilgrims to perform their exercise with ease. Like there is this nusuk now, if you can easily be found and all that, then there is a lot of design to ensure that the pedestrian way or will not detain, because I must tell you the heat is intense, but then the authority is that everything is put in place for the best. All the same, it is a time for sober reflection. It is a time to seek for forgiveness. It's a time to pray a lot and commune with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
As a prelude to Eid-ul-Adha, which one of the features is sacrifice of animals, what is expected of the pilgrims there as they perform Arafat tomorrow?
Well, for pilgrims, they are supposed to sacrifice their rams. A lot of them will have made arrangements for their rams to be sacrificed. But in Islam, if you're on Hajj and you cannot sacrifice the ram, what you do is you will fast for 3 days while you are on Hajj. Then when you return home, you will fast for 7 days. They say, "Thalathatun fil Hajj wa sab'atun idha raja'tum." You will fast for 3 days while you're on Hajj, then you go and fast for 7 days when you get home. So those who could not afford to slaughter ram here will fast for 3 days and they will go back home and fast for another 7 days. It is hadha, it is sacrifice. And so for those who are not on Hajj, they are supposed to also sacrifice their rams at home. It's an Islamic injunction, and it's one of the ways we get closer to Allah.
Okay, so to wrap up our discussion, what is the significance of Hajj to the Muslims in their faith?
Well, one of the things that Hajj has come to do is to exemplify the oneness of human race. Whether you are black, whether you are white, whether you speak different languages, what God has done is, like he said in the Quran, he said, he has created us in different forms. We can be black or white, speak different languages. But he said, "Lita'arafu," so that we can understand, we can just know ourselves. It's for identity. So you see here, blacks, whites, people of different languages from all walks of life coming together, wearing the same white. Standing before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and everybody saying the same thing and doing the same thing. It's just about the oneness of Allah, and that Allah is trying to send a message to humanity that we are one, and the only person that is having any step, any reason to be above others is that person that fears Allah.
From all of us here at Tope, we say to all the Nigerian pilgrims and all the pilgrims there performing the Hajj, Hajj Mabrur.
Thank you very much, Lami. Thank you for joining me.
Our correspondent, Tope Alabi, speaking there from Saudi Arabia. Now, in preparation for Eid-el-Kabir celebrations, it is observed that attention goes to the purchase of rams, which is significant for Muslims to fulfill their Islamic rites and for the Eid celebration. Consequently, prospective buyers besiege ram markets, which is constant at periods like this. High costs may, however, come between people and their desires. Garba Nata'ala brings us this story.
It is an obligation for Muslims to offer sacrificial animal during Eid-el-Kabir celebration, and that is why
I am here at Zongo Market at Apu Roundabout, Abuja, to explore and see the possibility of buying a ram.
it is in periods like this that the symbolic slaughtering of sacrificial animals is at its peak and the demand for livestock is high. For instance, the one that goes with a cow is expecting to feed a larger congregation, but a ram is sufficient for a family to fulfill their obligation.
Some come here
and have to leave because of the high prices and so on. But at the end of the day, they might not have the option but to come and buy. But then you might be buying what you do not like or what you do not have planned for.
List price ranges from 180 to 300.
For the past years, like serious, by now you'll be seeing some space where some round will not be there and the cows will be going.
Be it as it is, we sought to know more, particularly on those made compulsory to fulfill these symbolic Islamic rites.
If you have the money, it is recommendable for you to do it. But if you don't have anything to do, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it on the Prophet that he slaughter it for you and me if we are not doing.
Last 10 days of the month of Zul-Hijjah is known with the slaughtering of sacrificial animals, as exemplified by Prophet Ibrahim when Allah enjoined him to sacrifice his son Ismail. In Abuja, Garib Muhammad Natala, NTA News.
Now, the federal government has declared Monday 17th and Tuesday 18th June 2024 public holidays to mark this year's Eid-el-Adha celebration. In a statement, the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunjojo, congratulates Muslim Ummah at home and abroad on this occasion. He calls on the Ummah to continue to imbibe the spirit of peace, kindness and sacrifice as exemplified by Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, and to also use the period to pray for unity, prosperity and the stability of the country. While wishing the Muslim Ummah a happy Eid-ul-Adha celebration, the minister assures that the administration of President Bola Tinubu is committed to safeguarding the lives and property of all Nigerians. Now, the Federal Road Safety Corps has deployed 41,470 personnel, over 743 patrol vehicles, 92 ambulances, 23 tow trucks, and 144 motorbikes nationwide for its special Salah patrol between 14th to 23rd June 2024. Co-Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps Shehu Mohammed hinted this at a press briefing on preparedness of the Corps during the Eid-el-Kabir celebration. Oyemi Ajayi has the details.
Since his resumption to office as the Commercial Federal Road Safety Corps, Shehu Mohammed has his first major hurdle to jump. The evident litmus test for him is to ensure a hitch-free movement during the Eid-el-Kabir celebration. Now, focus for the Corps is to achieve reduction in road traffic crashes, and to this end, aggressive enforcement will build the strength, and this includes conducting over 200 mobile court operations.
In achieving the objectives of the special operation, the Corps will combine engagement of the motoring public through purposeful and impactful public education programs, strengthening of surveillance activities to regulate unprofessional excesses, sustain effective patrol operation. Total of 23 health areas mobilized to ensure prompt removal of obstructions and rescue operation during the period.
The Corps is confident that the celebration would be a huge success. But one thing is sure, the people are watching and ready to put pen to paper. Oyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu has called for stronger collaboration between Nigeria's law enforcement agencies and the United States Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, in the fight against cybercrime, terrorism, drug war, and other related crimes. The president, who stated this during a meeting with FBI Director Christopher Asher Ray at the State House in Abuja, described the presence of the FBI director alongside his team in Nigeria as a recognition of the enduring partnership between Nigeria and the United States in the fight against financial crimes and terrorism. The president says Nigeria cannot achieve the important feat of eliminating crimes without collaboration, hence the partnership with other West African countries to fight economic and other related crimes. He told the FBI director that his administration has prioritized education as a tool against poverty, which is generally believed to be a driver of criminal activities, and efforts by agencies are on to eliminate terrorism, cybercrimes, and sextortion. Noting that no single country can combat financial crimes in isolation, President Tinubu called on the United States to support developing countries with the requisite technology and knowledge transfer required to combat complex international crimes. United States of America FBI Director Christopher Wray said he was in the country to enhance the outstanding partnership that exists between the two governments. He lauded President Tinubu for supporting the growing partnerships between various agencies of government and the FBI in order to protect the citizens of both countries, especially counter-terrorism in the region, which is a threat to global peace. He expressed appreciation to the President's vision in re-engineering the role of the Office of the NSA to effectively coordinate efforts on counter-terrorism and has already started bearing fruits in terms of successes recorded against ISIS in West Africa and other terrorist groups. The FBI director gave an assurance of U.S. support to Nigeria in areas of counter-terrorism, cyber-enabled crimes, kidnapping, joint investigations, and intelligence sharing. You're watching the Network News. We now take some messages. Do stay tuned. Thank you for staying. President Bola Tinubu has approved the reconstitution of governing councils and boards of federal universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education for the effective management of Nigerian tertiary institutions across the country. This is conveyed in a statement issued by the Permanent Secretary, General Services, in the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Among those appointed are Alhaji Yaeli Ahmed as the chairman of the board of Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, Senator Joy Emodi Alvan Ikoku, Federal University of Education, Chief Bisi Akonde, University of Ibadan, Abdurrahim Adebayo Shitu, David Umahi, University of Medical Sciences, Oba Abdurrashid Ayotunde, Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Senator Jack Dilegado, Federal University of Technology, Owerri, Chief Wole Olanipekun, SAN, University of Lagos, Senator Victor Ndoma Egba, Federal University of Lokoja, retired Major General Ike Nwachukwu, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Nasiru Yusuf Gawuna, Bayero University, Isa Yuguda, National Open University of Nigeria, while the likes of Senator Emmanuel Bwacha, Bello Tukur, Akinwale Koka, Professor Dayo Fadule, Chief Dan Obi, Barnabas Gimade, Mike Mswan, Florence Itagiwa, Kemi Pinero, SAN, Professor Ishola Afolabi, and General Lawrence Onoja, retired, are all appointed as heads of boards of federal polytechnics and colleges of education. Now, one of the major essence of humanity is blood, and it is described as a living substance to the very core of life. Unfortunately, the support for blood donation seems lacking, and medical experts are worried by these developments. They are calling the younger generation to support nationally coordinated and sustainable blood program to meet the needs of patients who require blood transfusion. This came to the fore as the world marks Blood Donor Day. Ibrahim Bellugunda reports.
Without blood, life is non-existent. So, when a shortage of it becomes unavoidable, blood donation becomes necessary, and it plays a vital role in restoring the health of the recipient or patient. Healthcare practitioners highlight the benefits patients that face life-threatening conditions gain with blood transfusion.
We are trying to ensure that each and every blood donated is screened appropriately. Getting safe blood starts from getting safe blood donor. And what do we mean by safe blood donor is somebody that is free from all infection.
The essence of this is encapsulated in the World Blood Donor Day, celebrated on 14th of June every year. It is to raise awareness for safe blood and to thank voluntary, unpaid blood donors for their life-saving gifts.
Currently, we are working together with National Emergency Medical Services, NEMSAS, as well as the Primary Healthcare Development Agency, to ensure that we have enough blood in response to most of these emergencies.
The slogan, "Share life, give blood," amplifies the essence of blood donation and the necessity to encourage youth to sign up and start donating.
I have actually donated blood like 28 times. When you donate this blood, you're saving somebody's life.
I'm standing here today is because I am a recipient of the good venture of kind-hearted people who have donated blood. I've received blood for I've received up to 8 pints.
This year's theme is 20 years of celebrating giving. Thank you, donors, selected to commemorate profound impact of blood donations. In Abuja, Ibrahim Bello Gunda, NTA.
Now, to say that agriculture is the life of Jigawa State could be an understatement. Indeed, no imagination can conjure Jigawa without agriculture. Given the strategic importance of this sector and the need to sustain and further explore the economic opportunities for the state, its people and the nation, the Jigawa State government unveils new agricultural policy document as a guide for the state. Muhammad Musa Askira brings us the details.
This policy document was designed by the state intellectuals in the agricultural sector in collaboration with the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office, FCDO, with the sole aim of remodeling the farming policies in Jigawa State to harness its diverse economic potentials for the well-being of the state and its people.
We will work together because agriculture is not a one-man business. Everybody must be involved. That has come. We don't have any other business rather than agriculture.
The first priority is food security, food and nutrition security in all its ramifications of availability, access, utilization, and stability of food supply to the citizenry of Jigawa states.
The relationship between the Jigawa government and the FCDO, which spans over 2 decades, transcend key economic sectors in the state. But for this, the focus is to optimize the agricultural productivity and output for the overall development of the state.
The support we are providing Jigawa State in this entire process has been founded on the need to have a robust and inclusive investment-based agricultural policy.
Governor Umar Namadi is working his task on addressing poverty, unemployment, rural-urban migration syndrome among the youth, and other social security threats through the agriculture.
Agriculture is the mainstay of Jigawa State economy, and about 80 to 90% of our people rely on agriculture as a means of livelihood. What is needed is transforming and expanding the production capacity.
This policy document is expected to change the approach and practice of agriculture in Jigawa State for result-oriented production. From Duty, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
Security situation in Borno State has remained a frontline priority, evidenced by the unyielding efforts of the Chief Security Officer of the state, Governor Babagana Umar Zulum, as well as the unwavering commitment of the nation's armed forces towards securing the sanctity of one Nigeria, with logistic support rendered to all security agencies in the state to enable them strengthen security and end the Boko Haram insurgency. The impact, according to observers, are heart-gladdening. Maimuna Garba reports.
Since the coming of Professor Babagana Umar Zulum as the Borno State Governor, security matters have always been on the front burner, working hard to restore lasting peace to the state, an effort the residents describe as commendable.
We have good free movement of people going normal businesses within their domain. The governor has achieved a lot.
Governor Babagana Zulum has done well, especially when it comes to supporting the security architecture.
Apart from the governor's frequent visits to troops on frontline duties, with the return of peace to the state, Governor Zulum has made frantic efforts in relocating back Borno citizens taking refuge in neighboring countries.
Everything possible to see how we can, support the process of clearing the waterways, so that from here we can go to the border of the Czech Republic. Yes. I think this will open up economic opportunities to many Nigerians and will also enhance trading.
The Zulum administration in the last 1 year has procured 94 brand new Hilux patrol vehicles, 62 Toyota Land Cruiser, 300 brand new motorcycles for security agencies, repair and upgrade of 49 vehicles for police, vigilantes and members of civilian JTF, in addition to procurement of assorted security gadgets.
The Borno State government support has been very tremendous over the years, and it has continued on a regular basis.
The state government has put in some enablers. The enablers is the creation of Borno State Security Forum. This is one and the first across Nigeria.
Governor Babagana Umara Zulum's initiative of the Borno model has helped in the restoration of peace to Borno and hybrid method of ending insecurity.
And when he came on board, he decided to have an alternative to this kinetic approach.
With the significant peace now enjoyed across the state, agricultural activities have picked up with the support of Governor Zulum to more than 300 livestock farmers in Jere, Kondiga and mobile local governments, provision of 208 trucks of fertilizer and procurement of about 500 farm implements across Borno. To further boost food production in the state, Professor Babagana Umara Zulum has made provision for 20,000 hectares of land at Ngala, Dikwa and MMC, as well as installation of solar-powered irrigation system, among others. Almost all the local government areas are being supported to ensure both returnees and host communities resume their agricultural activities. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
Now, the Nigerian Navy is diving into the depths of maritime safety through surveys on World Hydrography Day, with a call to preserve the world's oceans and waterways for future generations, as well as highlighting progress made in hydrographic surveys of Nigerian waterways. Defense correspondent Naja'atu Tijani reports.
Proudly serving the nation, protecting its maritime domain and assets, the Nigerian Navy is steering a steady course in hydrography for a secure and prosperous future, in line with World Hydrography Day's theme, Hydrographic Information, Enhancing Safety and Sustainability in Marine Survey. The Chief of the Naval Staff, through the Hydrographer of the Federation, says it promises to be an impactful week with long-lasting benefits for the nation.
We will deliver awareness lectures on hydrography. These lectures aim to inspire young minds to consider careers in hydrography, ensuring we have the human capacity to provide quality hydrographic services to Nigeria, policymakers, and mariners, as well as building leadership for the future.
A week of maritime excitement, says the Nigerian Navy, which is bringing together a team of experts, with hydrographic vessels such as NNS Lana being the workhorses behind this success. The ships are equipped with cutting-edge technology, mapping the maritime territory with precision and accuracy, proving that with the right hydrographic information, Nigeria's waters can be both safe and sustainable. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
Now, in line with the present administration's drive to maximize potentials in the blue economy, stakeholders have converged on Abuja to promote best practices that will ensure sustainability and security in the maritime sector. This was at the 6th National Maritime Workshop organized by the Environmental Management and Disaster Risk Reduction Institute of Nigeria. Ramatu Abdullahi reports.
The blue economy is one of the critical sectors that contributes to revenue generation for government. Its sustainability, safety and security is paramount to ensure its efficient exploits.
The military, that's the armed forces of Nigeria, through the relevant arm, that's the Nigerian Navy, is doing everything possible to ensure that the waterways, the creeks, the coastal areas, and indeed Nigerian maritime environment extending up to the exclusive economic zone, up to 200 nautical miles, is safe.
Chairman Board of Trustees of the Environmental Management and Disaster Risk Reduction Institute, Ainde Shuaga, said the institute is working to provide trained manpower to complement government efforts in this vital sector of the economy.
The blue economy is very apt at this time. Government would be able to raise money from it and to broaden the scope of work of Nigerians to tap into this.
The key in environmental management and disaster risk reduction is all about sustainability.
If our waterways are not managed, if they are not cleared, if we are dumping refuse inside these waterways, then definitely we'll have the repercussions of it.
There were awards of fellowship of the Institute to deserving members. Ramatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Benny Adams takes it up from here for the latest from the world of business. Benny.
Thank you, Lami, and welcome to business. Moving from dependency to self-sufficiency and onto economic empowerment is central at the ongoing conversation by Africans in the Bahamas with the theme Owning Our Destiny on the platform of Global America. The Prime Minister of the Bahamas speaks on the way to economic empowerment for the Caribbean countries and Africa.
Just as the Bahamas has embraced its unique position to become a global leader in tourism and financial services, so too can we, as a collective African and Caribbean nations, develop our potential to shape our own economic destiny.
And talking global growth, the global growth projected to hold steady at 2.6% in 2024 before edging up to an average of 2.7% in 2025 and 2026, just as developing economies, including Nigeria, are projected to grow 4% on average over 2024 and 2025, slightly slower than in 2023. To help us learn more, Deputy Chief Economist of the World Bank Group, Ian Coase, has the details.
26, we are expecting 60% of economies to have slower growth than what they actually experienced in the decade prior to the pandemic on average. These 60% of economies account for 80% of global output, and of course they are home to 80% of global population. So there is weakness when it comes to growth around the world, and of course that weakness comes with significant risks as well.
And at the end of last weekday of trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, a total of 318.1 million shares and 7,302 deals corresponding to a market value of 4.95 billion naira were traded. Compared with the previous trading day, which was on Thursday, today's data shows 37% decline in volume, 43% decline in turnover, and 25% decline in deals. The current market capitalization is 56.5 trillion naira. And on the aggregate, 127 listed equities participated in trading, ending with 32 gainers and 18 losers. Sterling Bank recorded the highest volume of traded shares, followed by Zenith Bank and Fidelity Bank. Well, that is business news. Network news continues, but after this commercial break, do stay with us.
The Federal High Court in Kano has awarded the sum of 10 million naira as damages in favor of Aminu Ado Bayero for the breach of his fundamental human rights, the personal liberty and freedom of movements. The presiding judge, Justice Simon Amobede, gave the order while delivering judgments on the suit filed by the 15th Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, against Kano State Government, Attorney General of the Federation, that of Kano State, and the security agencies. Elizabeth Sila reports.
The Kano Emirate saga is marked by a series of legal suits filed in both federal and state high courts in Kano. In the case between Aminu Ado Bayero and the state government, Attorney General of the Federation and of Kano State, and the security agencies in the state, presided over by Justice Simon Amobeda of the Federal High Court Kano, ruled in favor of the applicant Aminu Ado Bayero, that the action of the state governor Eid-el-Kabir Yusuf directing the arrest of the applicant, leading to his forceful house arrest, preventing him from free movement, is unlawful and a breach of fundamental right of liberty and the freedom of movement under Section 35, subsection 1 and Section 41, subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The court therefore restrains all parties involved from arresting, detaining, or harassing the applicant, ruling that the government of Kano State pay the applicant the sum of 10 million naira.
There is nowhere in the judgment that says Muhammad Sunusi II is not the emir of Kano State. There is nowhere in the judgment it is said the law that was passed was wrongly passed.
In the case between Aminu Babadang Agundi and the state government, among others, following the ruling on jurisdiction, the second and third respondent counsel filed an appeal and also a stay of proceedings, which the judge overruled. As such, they recused themselves.
Then we have an application again which is pending the court to nullify every step taken after it granted this ex parte order. That application is also adjourned for ruling.
When a motion was brought before my lord, which has to do with nullifying the order, the laws made by Kano State and assented by the governor, no, we felt that that is the crux of the matter. But still, my lord overruled that he has to proceed with the matter.
The presiding judge in the case, Justice Abdullahi Muhammad Liman, reserved Thursday, the 28th of June, 2024, for ruling. In Kano, Elizabeth Villa, NTA News.
A delegation of ambassadors from French-speaking countries in Nigeria wants to leverage the wide reach of the news agency of Nigeria, NAN, to deepen ties and promote democracy as well as the rule of law. The delegation made this known during a visit to the leadership of the news agency in Abuja. Charles Alpha reports.
After sealing series of partnership with foreign news agencies such as Reuters, AFP and more, the collaboration these French ambassadors are seeking with the news agency of Nigeria will strengthen both countries' mandate in terms of deepening ties in both technical and human resource development. Receiving the delegation led by the Bulgarian ambassador to Nigeria in his office in Abuja, managing director of the news agency of Nigeria, NAN, Malam Ali Muhammad Ali, believes the synergy will further boost the agency's plan to establish its agency in French-speaking countries, which he believes will promote both countries and wider reach.
And I'm sure with the ambassadors of Francophone-speaking countries, it will be a lot easier in this partnership to see how we can report Africa more to the rest of the world.
We believe that when it comes to democracy, media is one of the most important indicators we have. So we decided to engage with News Agency of Nigeria.
The group of 25 members led by Yanko Yenadov, the Bulgarian ambassador to Nigeria, aside supporting each other, said their visit was to promote one of the largest democracies in Africa where protection of the fundamental rights of citizens are guaranteed. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
The federal government says it is committed to redefining the nation's correctional facilities to meet up with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and make life better for all Nigerians. Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo stated this shortly after inspecting Janguza ultra-modern custodial facility in Kano. Habibu Usaini reports. Is here present.
The state of correctional facilities in Kano, with a view to addressing the challenges being faced. This is to also enable government to improve the welfare and well-being of inmates. As part of President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, the minister noted the federal government is committed to making all sectors effectively functional.
It's about creating a correctional system that is really reformatory, a correctional center that is transformational in nature, a correctional center that is not condemnative, not destructive in nature, where people come and where people learn, where people go out to become better human beings, where the lives of people will actually be transformed in national interest, and where the rate of recidivism will be almost close to zero.
He also disclosed that hundreds of correctional inmates have regained freedom and become useful members of the society through the decongestion initiative of the federal government.
It is in the dream of this government to give every Nigerian, wherever they are, either in Nigeria or in diaspora, a sweet experience, showing the renewed hope agenda and bringing succor, to Nigerians in general.
Mr. Olubunmi appealed to Nigerians to continue to support policies and programs of the administration of President Bola Tinubu to enable it deliver on its mandate.
More stories on Network News after the break. Stay with us. Veteran broadcaster Aladibago felicitates with Didiza Thoko Angela, who is the new Speaker of the Parliament of South Africa. Didiza, the former Director General of Nigeria Broadcasting Commission, is described as a staunch member of the ANC, who was also highly respected by former President Thabo Mbeki and late Mami Winnie Mandela. Malam Aladibago is optimistic that Madam Speaker will bring some zest, integrity and dignity to the office as Speaker of the Parliament in Cape Town. In South Africa, Parliament forms a coalition deal to pave way for the re-election of Cyril Ramaphosa as president, and G7 leaders turn attention to migration, artificial intelligence, among others, on second day of summit in Italy. Here is Uche Gochuku with stories making headlines on the global scene.
South Africa's ruling African National Congress, ANC party, and the Democratic Alliance, DA, reached the deal to form a government of national unity during the first sitting of the newly elected parliamentarians.
The statement that emerges from the past 2 weeks of intense but very mature negotiations charts a new course for our nation.
The deal is coming in the wake of May 29 elections, in which the ANC lost its one-party rule for the first time in decades. And the gathering in Italy's southern Puglia region discussed issues such as financial support for Ukraine, the war in Gaza, artificial intelligence, climate change, as well as China's industrial policy and economic security. Pope Francis, while addressing the summit on the perils of artificial intelligence, called for a ban on lethal autonomous weapons and urgent reconsidering of the development and use of such devices that take human life. Elsewhere, severe flooding hit parts of Chile after heavy rains battered the center and south of the country, killing one person and causing damage to hundreds of homes. Chile's weather service issued the highest level of alarm, but was later lifted as authorities said 80% of the storm had passed and headed for neighboring Argentina. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
That's Network News for today. We thank you for being a part of it. Wishing you a beautiful weekend of Eid.